Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I wanted to take a second to tell you something that really came up from a conversation that I had with a young lady that I mentor. We had the conversation not too long ago, and basically we were talking about men and advice about guys. She's in her 20s. When you're in your 20s, you're going through a lot of stuff. Sometimes you don't know exactly what to do, and it's even harder if you don't have parents that are able to give you the advice that you need, or you don't have a father that can really talk to you in a way that's protective of you. One of my theories is that I believe every girl deserves to have at least one man who wants to help her without trying to sleep with her, who cares about her without trying to sleep with her. Because you see, there's a lot of wolves in sheep clothing. They will offer you the world, and then later on you find out that he's also offering you his penis to go along with the lobster that he might have fed you when you went out to eat. And so maybe if you want to, you're welcome to consider me to be that guy. I can be that man for you in the sense that I can be that father that maybe you didn't have around growing up, or I can be the uncle or the older brother who gives you the advice just straight from the heart. Because I do care about you. I want to help you make good decisions. Now, this is something that's probably more so for the ladies than for the men. I have plenty of videos for men, plenty of things I talk about that apply directly to men. So, brothers, don't think I'm leaving you out of this. But this is mostly for the ladies because I had this conversation with a young lady, and I believe also that if I share good information with somebody, I should share it with everybody, so that in case somebody wants to know these things, they can have this information in their arsenal. And I wish I'd had more people tell me these things when I was younger in my 20s. Here's the thing, I can put it pretty plainly. Every man has a track record. Every man has a pattern. Every man has a system and a way of kind of dealing with the world. Sometimes that pattern changes. Typically, it's very difficult for you to be the catalyst that changes that pattern. Although a lot of women, for some reason, are deceived into believing that they can be the catalyst for change, or they can, or that the man will make an exception for them. Oh, he wants to kill everybody else, but he would never kill me. He never took care of his other kids, but he'll take care of mine. He loved and left all the other women, but he won't do that with me. And I think that's a very dangerous category or dangerous approach to take to relationships. I'm a believer that in fact, this is true in statistics. I got my master's in stats, and one of the things we said in statistics is that typically the best indicator of the future is what you have in the past, unless certain statistical principles evolve, and then in that case you have to change some things. But truth is that when you look at people, the best way to understand what they're going to do in the future is to look at what they've done in the past. So if you really want to get to know a man, listen to him. Let him tell you about his life. Let him tell you about his children. Let him tell you about his previous relationships. And if you see a pattern, then understand that pattern will probably continue. Don't be deluded into believing that it's going to automatically change. Some people do change. I'm not saying that they don't. But the thing is, you don't want to leverage your life and gamble your future on the possibility that somebody's going to change without seeing good evidence. Because I say this with a heavy heart, because I have friends and friends of friends who have been murdered in domestic violence situations. I know a professor who had it all together. She was on top of the world doing great things, and she had a husband who was, just some little weak punk dude who had failed and everything in life. He became jealous of what she was doing. He was jealous of her and the possibility of her going to be with another man. So he killed her and killed himself. And just this last week, I had a very good friend whose cousin did a murder suicide on his wife. And even before she died, she went to the police and told them several times, "My husband's going to kill me. If you don't help me, my husband's going to kill me." And a few days later, she was dead. And so I guess I bring that up to really say, because this isn't really talking about domestic violence, but I think it's important to bring that up to say that, and I mentioned this when I wrote my book, Financial Lovemaking, that who you choose to spend your life with is probably the most important decision you'll ever make. It's the most significant investment you'll ever make. And what's ironic to me is that despite the significance of that investment, the importance of that investment, people don't really think through that investment very well. And think about this. Imagine a single woman who's looking for a relationship. Let's say she's looking for marriage, or she's looking for love, or she's looking for sex, looking for whatever. I'm not judging. And let's say a man who comes up who looks like Idris Elba. He's the best looking dude. He's smooth. He smells good. Breath don't stink. Got a nice suit. and he treats her well. And he's also very intelligent, carries a good conversation. He asks her out. What's she gonna say? Most of the time, the woman will say yes. He could have the most ratchet background ever. He could be the most heinous, horrible person imaginable. He may have left a trail of tears and blood all throughout his life, but because of that initial appearance and because of those first couple of conversations, she might already be smitten just like that. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. And so lo and behold, let's say that she sleeps with him 2 or 3 dates later. People have this 3 date rule or whatever, which I think is a very very bad idea actually, when you consider how serious sex is. And she sleeps with him. Let's say he's good in the bedroom. He knows how to work it. And so it's like the best sex ever. He looks like Idris. He's intelligent. He's a good guy. Why wouldn't you keep going out with him? So she goes out with him 4 or 5 times. The next thing you know, a habit has formed. Marketing professionals actually have a whole theory, a whole set of theories on how to get a customer to form a habit. You get them into a routine, into a pattern. You create triggers, actions, and reward. The trigger, action, reward cycle that ultimately forms a habit, almost like an addiction. And before you know it, she's hooked. And it's after she's hooked that she might realize what kind of person she's dealing with. And that's a very scary place to be when you're with somebody and you can't leave them because there's like a magnet pulling you to that person. Well, that's God and Mother Nature doing their work. They make love and sex so appealing that you really can't walk away a lot of times, especially once you've stepped in that abyss. And one of the things that I've observed as well is that if you have a man that has had a bunch of kids, for example, with a bunch of women, and he's not taking care of those kids, he's not going to take care of yours either. 9 times out of 10. Sometimes, again, people change, but in my opinion, every time you make a baby with somebody or you marry somebody, a little piece of who you are is being left in that relationship. There is a part of you that will always be in that relationship, no matter what. You can't move on and pretend like it never happened. So, if you have a guy who has 2 or 3 financial obligations to other and emotional obligations to other women, other children, etc., those are little pieces of himself that have been left behind. So you're not getting a whole man; you're getting a piece of man. And the thing about it too is that guys who have a bunch of kids with a bunch of different women, a lot of times, they either A, don't use condoms that much, or B, don't know how to use a condom the right way. Either way, in many cases, these guys are walking STDs. If you talk to the next man you sleep with, and just ask him this question. Ask him, when's the last time you went to the doctor and got a full panel of STD tests? I'm not talking about just HIV. I'm talking about tests for herpes, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, every other thing that you can get. And most people do not get fully tested for every STD. They might get an HIV test once every year, once every 6 months. But does that really matter if he's a player and he's a good-looking man and he's sleeping with 10 women a year? Does it really matter if he gets one HIV test that happened in 2011? That's not relevant anymore. So he could have caught something last week. So what I would just say is that if you choose to sleep with somebody, and I'm not judging you, I'm not slut shaming and saying, oh well, if you sleep around, you're just a bad person. I'm not doing all that. I don't judge. The young ladies that look to me for mentorship. I don't judge who they sleep with, why they sleep with them, how often they sleep with them, how many guys they sleep with. I'm not saying all that. Now, for the record, I am a believer that you should appreciate the responsibility and the power of sex and be intelligent about how you share your body. I mean, to throw your body around and put your future in the hands of people you barely know is about the dumbest thing you could ever do. Because you could ruin your life because you chose to sleep with the wrong person. And I say this to brothers too that will go and sleep with some woman in the strip club or whatever. Not to say strippers are bad people to choose for relationships, but I'm talking about just some random person that you don't even care about, that you don't even know. I tell them that that's very risky to do because that woman might end up being the mother of your child. That woman might give you a disease that you don't want. That woman may put you through a situation that you don't want to go through. I just think, as a general rule, respect the power of sex. Look at people's patterns, look at their habits. If a man has kids and he's not taking care of those kids, that means he's probably not going to take care of yours. He has a track record of irresponsibility, he has a track record of broken relationships, and maybe even broken promises. You saw that with Sierra and Future. When Sierra and Future got together, and I saw Future had all them kids with all those women, I said that man is swinging his penis in every direction. He has a habit It's not to say he's a bad person. I'm not judging. Again, whatever. He's a man. He's a player. He's got big money. Women love him. He's young. What I'm not judging it. It's what he does. But you really think you're gonna get him to settle down and be the good little boy that you want him to be? When he been nothing but a conquering tiger for the last 10 years, and he's sleeping around with all these women with no condom. There's a good chance he has a disease. And so the bottom line is like I didn't. People ask me about it, and I said, well, I don't think they're gonna last. To be honest with you, so that's what I just say. That's all I want to share. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just offering some good advice. I just say, ladies, respect who you are, respect your body. Take your time to get to know the man before you give him access to your body. Um, look at those patterns. Look at that track record. If the track record smells bad to you, understand that's what the future is likely going to hold. And also, I would say to those who are looking for something meaningful, some people just want sex, and that's fine as long as you understand the risk and the consequences for the fact that sex does lead to babies. In case you forgot, but if that's what you want, then I'm not judging that. But some people are looking for something more meaningful than sex. If you're looking for something more meaningful than sex, make sure you know the difference between a man who will do you in the bedroom real good versus a man who truly wants to be there for you, and be there with you and wants to be dedicated to you. That's what I call the Halle Berry problem. And the reason I say that is because Halle Berry used to, she always has attracted the finest and the best looking men, the men that all the women wanted. And the problem with that, the shortcoming of that is that these are the men that all the women want. And so if you're dealing with a guy like, say, an Eric Benet, who she married, or Dave Justice, you're talking about guys who literally have women throwing themselves at their feet all the time. So you might have to deal with an issue of arrogance, where he knows that he doesn't have to put up with your shit because he can go out and find a new woman in 30 seconds. You might deal with sex addiction, which he dealt with Eric Benet, because he's so used to having so many different women. He sings for them. They all want to sleep with him. They don't care that he's with Halle. You might have to deal with, obviously infidelity. I mean, that's going to be a given in many of those cases. And so my thought with the Halle Berry problem is maybe instead of choosing the absolute best man she could possibly get, she would choose a man based on what he brings to her in terms of love. Like maybe she could find, say, a guy who maybe isn't as good looking and as famous as an Eric Benet, but he literally worships the ground she walks on. He's going to be dedicated to her for eternity because he knows that she's the best that he can get. And in a way, it's a little bit like choosing a job. Some people choose a job that they hate, a job that stresses them out, and a job that even affects their health because the job is prestigious, maybe it pays a lot of money, and they enjoy telling people that this is my job. I enjoy telling people I'm the chief of staff for President Obama because it's prestigious, but I hate the job. The job is hard work, it's a pain in the butt, but the trade-off is worth it because this job makes me feel better about who I am. It makes other people feel better about who I am. So some people pick relationships like they like someone might pick a job. So someone may say this relationship sucks, this is horrible, my heart's getting broken all the time, this person's dragging me through the mud, they're cheating on me, they're mistreating me, but I get to say that I'm with this fine man over here. I get to say that I'm dating the attorney general, or that I'm living in a big house. So you're making that trade off, and you have to be really careful about those trade offs. And then some people pick jobs not based on how the job makes them feel about themselves, because maybe they already feel good about themselves. They may not pick a job because of what other people are going to think, because they don't care what other people think. They might pick a job based on how much this company appreciates me. Does this company pay me well? Does this company, respect me? Do they give me time off so I can spend time with my kids? And I think that a relationship is the same way. Sometimes you can pick somebody and say, you know what, sure, I could date. Like a smart man does this. He might say, I could probably date a prettier girl. I've seen prettier girls come along, but you know what, this woman really loves me. This woman is so honored to be with me. This woman respects me. She treats me so well. I am so happy to be around this woman. And when I got more mature, I learned how to evaluate women that way too. It was like, yeah, okay, you're cute and you look good, and oh my goodness, you look just like a strawberry sundae right now. And I accept those emotions. But then there's a point where you have to say, what's this person really going to bring into your life? What kind of, are they going to bring chaos, or are they going to bring comfort? Are they going to make you a better person, or are they going to make you worse? Are they going to make you happier with your life? Or are they going to make you unhappy? And so I think that most of us know that there's that person out there that might love us to the end of time because they are just so happy to have a chance to be with us. And I think that that love should be returned with respect. And you have to differentiate those people from the people who might just be here for the short term, or those who might just be here so they can get something out of you. There's a difference there. So that's all I want to say. Happy hunting on this. And if you want to know why I'm into this relationship thing, is because, for twofold. One, I believe strongly in the preservation and the strength of the black family. I think that the black community will be stronger when we get better at building families, and that does mean respecting the importance of the male in the household. I don't want a community full of babies, mamas, and babies, daddies. I'd like for the children to have the opportunity to have full access to both parents. Maybe they can live in separate houses, but the preferred approach is to have everybody in the same house. The other reason is S.T. Brown, and S.T. Brown is the entertainment director at Ebony Magazine, and she and I wrote a book together called Financial Lovemaking 101, and that's where we talk about making investments in your life. We talk about money, but it's mostly not about money. It's mostly about love and life, and how you invest your love, how you invest your heart, how you invest your time, and making sure you make the investments in other people in a way that's going to give you what you want and not leave you with regrets. And so, if you want to take a look at that book, you can go check it out. It's at store.yourblackworld.net. That's store.yourblackworld.net. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Take care. God bless. I'm gone. Peace.